They're back. There it is.
Thank you.
Okay, and Brad, are you able to hear us now?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Brad. All right, with that being said, we'll call the July meeting of the Wood County Board of Supervisors to order. I would ask the clerk to please take the roll, and I assume that he has done that. And at this time, I would call on Supervisor Bill Voigt to please come forward for the invocation. I'd ask the body to rise and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's always a line between politics and religion. And we all like to feel a part of both of that. I'm going to offer you a prayer of unification today. We invite you, God of peace, to provide over this gathering of the Wood County Board. Give us unity of spirit, even if our beliefs disagree. Assist us in listening politely as others offer their points of view. Assist us in working as a cohesive team to combine ideas for a successful conclusion. Assist us in working as a group rather than as individuals pursuing their own interests. May there be a feeling of friendship in this room as we work together on a common goal to make Wood County a better place to live, work, and raise our families. Lord, in your mercy, we ask for your blessing on this day and always. Amen.
Amen. Please join the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Supervisor Voigt. Appreciate everybody's attendance here this morning. Absolutely gorgeous day out there today. As I was walking into the courthouse looking around, I thought we don't get a lot of days like this. Pretty nice out there. As we move forward, the first order of business is to take care of the minutes from the previous meeting. I have a motion by LaFontaine to approve in a second by Lightnum. Is there any discussion on approval of those minutes? Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? I'd like to note that that carried unanimously. We have no excusals today. We have no resignations. Under appointments and reappointments to the Wood County Wildlife Advisory Committee, a 3-year term for Larry I think it's Essensi. I'm not exactly positive how we pronounce it, but I believe it's Essensi. I entertain a motion to that effect. Supervisor Butke. Second by Pollock.
Second.
And Hamilton. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by aye. Aye. And opposed? And again, that motion carries unanimously. Do we have any public comment today? Is there any public comment? We have no acknowledgments and recognitions as well, and that'll take us right into the packet today. So as we move forward, the referrals, this was an interesting one. First time I ever think I've seen this. It just says none on page 5. So no referrals going forward. We are in the process of going through all of those resolutions that were forwarded by various counties for the Counties Association annual meeting coming up, but no other referrals coming our direction. Page 6, 7, and 8, our monthly letter of comments from the county clerk, along with some pictures from days gone by. Thank you, Trent. Pages 6 through 8. Beginning on page 9 and running through page 14, the Human Resources Department's monthly letter of comments. We have comments from the Treasurer's Office on 15, from Employee Wellness on 16, and then we have the first resolution in the packet. It begins on page 17 with the accompanying documents going through page 19. Trent.
This will be resolution 23-7-1 to tax deed eligible property to authorize the tax deeding of property in compliance with Wisconsin statutes chapter 75.14. Fiscal note, the taxes plus the special assessment, special charges, publication fee, and tax deeding expense totals $66,082.58.
Mr. Winch, were you making a motion or do you have a comment? Bill, just 1 second. Can I just get a motion a second, then we'll go to that? Okay, a motion by Bry, a second by Wagner. All right, Supervisor Winch, under discussion. Supervisor Wagner, you're probably going to have to answer this. So, I think so, Bill.
Anyway, I think it came from you last month, and not
Does the owner entitled to just compensation and sale of tax for own property? I wonder if we are using that new law.
Isn't that Act 2?
Act 216. Act 12, where they sell property,
Yeah,
where you have to give the rest of the money back.
it's all right that we're doing that, but I think we ought to look at that new law.
The law, if, I don't have the statute number, the law is in effect. We have to abide by that. Heather, do you understand exactly what the question is?
We're using 7414.
7514 in the intent and synopsis of the Wisconsin statutes with thought,
Using now.
correct.
But we should be using,
If there's another one, I think one authorizes, the other probably addresses how that money is retained. Peter, do you is that,
I'm not sure if we sell that property, we have to give the owner,
that is correct? Yes.
we sell it for more.
That, yes. So I'm not positive because I'm not the statute, but I think this statute allows the tax deeding, the accompanying legislation that followed dictates that any additional funds left over after that sale be returned to the original owner of the property.
Right, or we have to be interested if we do that.
Mr.
Not
Chairman?
sure about. So, Bill, I'm not exactly, because I don't have statute in front, but any additional dollars above and beyond what is owed to the county goes to the previous owner of the property.
Okay,
So, and it does. For a period, I don't have the whole statute. It's for 5 years. For a period of 5 years, we have to retain that money and or return it. That statute is in effect.
right,
Okay? All right. Is there any other discussion?
we should read that law.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Supervisor Hamilton.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think they have to, the property owner has to ask for any access back. If we went through this twice in the meetings last week. I believe they have to ask for it back. They can't, it's not automatically sent to them.
Not anymore.
Okay, now I have our corp counsel, Peter, who's got his hand up and hates to talk, but he's going to move to a microphone. Go ahead, Peter. I think it's on, it's just set for my height.
You do have that change in the law, and so that was problematic and that was unfortunate, but it's really been superseded by a recent Supreme Court decision. And the reason I mention that is because you'll see it in your county's magazine, most recent county's magazine, and it talks about the U.S. Supreme Court deciding that, in fact, all the money has to be given back, irrespective of the 5-year time period. So that's an even more unfortunate situation. So I'm not sure how the treasurer's going to deal with that, but I get the feeling it's going to be problematic, and you're going to end up with an account sitting there that doesn't get access too often in the future. Whether or not it's going to be an interest-bearing account or not, I don't know. Probably not. It just creates more problems. In any event, I just wanted to mention that there is this article in your magazine. So read the article. It's interesting. It's useful. The WCA has their counsel, and they put out very useful information. And also read that, pay attention to it. That's not our future.
Thank you. So thanks. To Supervisor Winch's, I guess, comments and question is, we have to follow the law. We will follow the law, and that would supersede any county policy that we would have had otherwise. So we're moving that direction. I did have a motion in a second, right there, Trent?
You did.
All right. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? All right. Please vote.
Hamilton, yes.
Thank you, Brad. And that resolution passed 19-0, 19-0. All right, moving forward, Health and Human Services Committee, their meeting of June 22nd on 20 and 21. The Health and Human Services Committee of Wednesday, June 28th on 22 and 23. Monthly letter of comments from the Health Department, beginning on 24, and that runs through page 28, 24 to 28. From the Human Services Department, their monthly report, beginning on 29, and that runs through page 36, 29 to 36. We have the Veteran Service Officers Report on 37. And then that takes us to the Public Safety Committee meeting of Monday, June 19th. That's on page 38. Their regular monthly meeting on July 10th on pages 39 and 40. The Wood County Traffic Safety Commission meeting on pages 41, 2, and 3. Their meeting from June 14th. We have the monthly report from the Sheriff's Department. It begins on page 44 and it runs through 66, 44 through 66. And if anybody made any notes there, had any questions? We have various minutes from the, it's the Seed Committee meeting, their July 5th meeting on page 67 through 70, 67 through 70, July 5th. Any questions there? And then we go to various minutes from the Golden Sands Conservation Development Council. They're beginning with their Personnel and Finance Committee meeting of May 25th. Those run 71 to 78, 71 to 78. Moving forward, we have the Extension Report, page 79 to 83, 79 to 83. The Annual Report from Extension, beginning on page 84, and that runs all the way to page 104, 84 to 104. And then that takes us to the Land and Conservation Department's monthly report, their comments, beginning on 105, and that runs through page 111, and then that brings me to Supervisor Lightnum. On page 112, he had some comments in regard to the Citizens Groundwater Group meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and they'll be brief. This is just a reminder or heads up. Our monthly meeting, this is Groundwater Group, is this afternoon. The block building at 2 o'clock. I just wanted to alert you to the speaker. So there has been a lot in the media recently about PFAS and PFOS and groundwater contamination and then the threat of the 5,000 forever chemicals. But anyway, our speaker today is a Mr. Eric Lindman. He's the Director of Public Works and Utilities for the City of Wausau. We asked him to speak just because it's a very timely issue and because Wausau, the City Council, has spent $17.5 million dealing with that. So he speaks early on in the meeting, maybe like 2:01, 2:02. We'll allow time for questions and answers. I did reach out to public works directors in the area who might be interested, but really timely in light of the events in Wausau. Just, I believe a week and a half ago on a Thursday, the governor was there and toured their facility. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Lightnum. So that was a preface to the Citizens Groundwater Group meeting, their last meeting on June 19th, pages 112 and 113. Go to the update from the Office of Planning and Zoning on 114 and 115. And then that brings us to the second resolution in the packet. Mr. Clerk.
This will be Resolution 23-7-2, to approve an amendment to the Town of Marshfield zoning map. Fiscal note, no cost to Wood County. The Town of Marshfield is responsible for any costs associated with administering their town zoning ordinance.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Fisher, Supervisor Fisher, a second by Supervisor Zerflu. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, I'd ask you to please vote.
Hamilton, yes.
Thank you, Supervisor Hamilton.
Supervisor Fisher, yours didn't click in.
Resolution passes 19-0. 19-0. All right, moving forward, page 117, minutes of the Judicial and Legislative Committee meeting of July 6th. That's 117, 18, and 19. We have various minutes of the Residential Options Committee from 626 and 710, beginning on 120, and it runs through 123, 120 to 123. Monthly update from the Child Support Agency on 124, from the Clerk of Courts on 125, from the Corp Council on 126, from the Criminal Justice Department on 127, Register and Probate, 128. And then when I get to page 129, you have the update from the Register of Deeds Office. And about a month ago, I mentioned the fact that our county clerk is now the president of his association. Our Register of Deeds is now the president of her association. So congratulations. I think that speaks, extremely well and talks about the quality of work that we do in Wood County and the fact that it's recognized around the state. I would venture a guess that many of our department heads, not just the electeds, have served in that capacity in their various departments, their various associations across the state, and they come back with an immense amount of knowledge and understanding when they do that. So Tiffany, congratulations. Yeah, give her a round of applause. What the heck, way to go. Going fast. We got to have some applause here to break this up. All right, minutes of the Highway Infrastructure Recreation Committee. Their meeting of June 19th on 1:30. Their regularly monthly meeting, Thursday, July 6th on 1:31 to 1:33. The minutes from the Wood County Wildlife Advisory Committee of April 10th on 1:34. Monthly update from the Highway Commissioner on 1:35, and that runs through 1:40. 1:35 to 1:40. The monthly update from the Parks Department begins on 1:41 and runs through 1:45. While I got that up before I get to the end of the meeting, again, I've mentioned it before, Uniquely Wisconsin, Discover Wisconsin Media Works is going to be in our county filming this weekend. They are going to be out at Lake Wazeecha for the state water ski tournament. Again, the biggest water ski tournament in the world. Hundreds of volunteers involved, businesses throughout the community, and I encourage any county board supervisor who's never gone out there to make the trip. It's well worth your while. On top of that, it's free, so there's no admission charge. So good opportunity to get out there. But along with that, the rest of the report from the Parks Department. Our PIT Committee, Property and Information Technology Committee meeting of Monday, July 10th on 1:46, 7 and 8. And then we begin with their updates, begins on 1:49 and runs through 1:52, mentions most of the projects they're doing. Our letter of comments from our facilities manager, Ruben Van Tassel, who I talk to regularly and is working about 80 hours a week on this jail project and other things that are going on in the county. Right now, we are on schedule and on budget with that project. Everything, I shouldn't say it, I'll jinx it, but everything's going well as of today. So I want to thank Ruben and his crew on that. That brings us to page 154 and the third resolution in your packet, the accompanying documentation. Now, there isn't any. Just had a staple stuck together from the next report. Trent?
This will be Resolution 23-7-3 to amend the 2023 budget for the Wood County Maintenance Department by transferring $332,500 from the Buildings Maintenance Returned Earnings account to pay for the purchase of 2 parcels of property along Market Street in Wisconsin Rapids. Fiscal note, the transfer of $332,500 from the Building Maintenance Retained Earnings account.
Motion, Hamilton.
I wasn't sure. Adam, did you have your hand up there right away? No? All right. Then I have a motion by Brian, a second by Clendenning. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? No discussion? I would ask you to please vote.
Hamilton, yes.
Thank you, Supervisor Hamilton. And that resolution passed 19-0, 19-0. Brings us to page 155 in the packet and 156. That's the Central Wisconsin State Fair Board of Directors meeting from May 15th on 155 and 156. The Junior Fair Board minutes of June 21st on 157 and 158. And the South Central Library System Board of Trustees on 159 and 160. Any questions there? All right, we buzzed through that pretty quick. Are there any questions in regard to anything that we went through? Or anything that would be pertinent coming forward? Supervisor Rosar.
So I'm sorry, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry I did not stand up and ask this. You went through that residential option stuff so quick. Can somebody just explain to me I kind of got the gist of what happens in there, but maybe court counsel would be so kind to just kind of explain the purpose of that committee and, without going into details, that would be, I noticed you had initials in there.
Yeah, no.
But I've always wondered about
Sure.
that, and would just like a little bit more information.
Our corp counsel is excited. I can see by the enthusiastic look on his face to get up and explain that. I don't care if it's you or Q, somebody who's running it. Go ahead, as long as you're right by the microphone there, Peter.
Thank you. So, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, the state legislature changed the law and required that any violent sexual offender who is going to be released from state custody, coming from Sandy Ridge facility near Boston, that they actually go back to the county that they are a resident of, because they have been, Portage County had been getting dumped on from their perspective. Other counties, they like it, so the legislature said you have to go back to the county you came from. So, in Wood County, we've had 3 placements so far, we're working on the 4th. And so, when you place a person, there's different statutory categories that fit in as far as proximity to schools, playgrounds, all sorts of things of that nature, churches, and so on. And then you also have other criteria that apply in some situations depending upon the offenses of the individual, if they were abusing a child or abusing a senior citizen or disabled adult, and then other things kick in as far as before you can place the person. So basically, the cities are kind of off limits as far as placing someone because there's people too close. And so it tends to be the townships that we're looking at, and sometimes there's folks who are upset about this. And so I was out on Thursday and Friday, and there was a message from a realtor who was upset about what was going on because it does impact things like property value. But nonetheless, we have to make the placement. Currently working on a placement, it's a difficult placement, and in fact, we're beyond the statutory time frame of 120 days to make the placement. It didn't help the court to fail to give us notice within the first 30 days to do so, but in any event, it wasn't the Wood County Court. And so, they are dealing with a Wood County resident, and so we're trying to make that placement. I had a hearing recently on July 3rd with that court. There are a lot of time frames here. And both the state DOJ and the public defender said, yeah, we're looking to lean hard on Wood County. We know that they're doing everything they can because we can get a copy of the committee minutes. And there's several people on the committee, none of the county board supervisors, although we do have a county board supervisor who regularly attends, Supervisor Clendenning, despite everything we've been trying to do. In any event, so we're meeting and we're trying to make sure that the court doesn't find us in contempt. There's another hearing that's coming up on that case on September 5th, I believe it is, where the court said if it's a status conference and if you're not having placed the person, then he's going to be entertaining scheduling a hearing. The court will then look at contempt of the county, and the state DOJ and the public defender has said that haven't made a placement by then, we're going to be requesting the courts to go ahead and force the county to buy or do something else on its own and not wait for a third party that we use to buy and release the property off to the state. So this is probably more than important that everybody else but you wanted to hear, but in any event, that's what's going on with regards to this. Other counties are having problems making placements because as soon as you get a property that's listed, it sells right. There's realtors out there that are doing such a thing like that.
If we're in contempt, I assume that's you that goes to jail, not me. Just checking. All right. Supervisor Clendenning.
Like if you have somebody who are in the facility because they're not well, they get out and they have to be in a leak restricted environment.
No, those are chapter 51 and 55 issues. This is a 980 criminal law situation.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions? All right, not that it isn't hot enough here in the summer. I will be at the NACO conference next week in Austin. It was 108 yesterday. I don't think it's going to go below 102 the entire time I'm out there. I will be available the whole time. I don't have to run any meetings. I just have to sit there. So we'll be available, but I will be out at NACO. So if any of you have any questions of counties associations on a national level, let me know before I get on a plane. So appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your day. With that, I will declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.